Though I've actually reviewed a couple of films with this particular animated family, but I'm a little overdue to talk about their great series that's been around for over 60 years. Well, it's now 62 now. So prepare yourselves because we're about to go into the future and meet everyone's favorite animated space age family from the guys who brought us the Flintstones, Hanna-Barbera themselves. In this TV log, I am going to talk about the one and only space age family themselves, the Jetsons. This is a Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews TV log. Da, 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 da. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers. I'm Duel. And this is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. You know me best as the Big D. Anyway, I'm here with another TV log, and today I'm going to be talking about a series that I have been wanting to talk about, but I just haven't even watched the whole series of. I've seen most of the episodes before, but now, of course, I've seen them all, and well, it's a show I'm long overdue to review and talk about since I first watched it. Anyway, after the Flintstones was a big success in 1960, but 2 years later, Hanna-Barbera gave us this other particular family that wasn't quite as big as the Flintstones at first, but they would soon catch on though in reruns until they got rebooted. Anyway, this is a particular family from the future, and I think you know who they are. So prepare to meet, you guessed it, if you know its theme song, then you know what I'm talking about. The Jetsons. The Jetsons was an animated sitcom for the whole family. It was produced by Hanna-Barbera and it originally premiered on ABC in September of 1962. Now, of course, the Jetsons was Hanna-Barbera's space-age counterpart to the Flintstones, whom premiered 2 years earlier. While the Flintstones lived in a world which was a comical version of the Stone Age, with machines powered by birds and dinosaurs, the Jetsons live in a comical version of a century in the future, with elaborate robotic contraptions, aliens, holograms, and whimsical inventions. Now then, this show actually aired Sunday nights on the Alphabet Network, as it premiered on September 23rd, 1962. Now, it debuted as the first program broadcast in color on ABC back in the early 60s when only a handful of stations were capable of broadcasting in color. In contrast, the Flintstones, while always producing color, was broadcast in black and white for its first 2 seasons. The show was originally scheduled opposite Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color on NBC and then as The Myths on CBS. But unfortunately, it did not receive much attention. Due to the poor ratings, it was canceled after its first season. But however, it went on to become very successful on Saturday mornings on all three networks, as it later went to CBS and then to NBC. In 1985, however, the Jetsons returned in a new series from reboot series from Hanna-Barbera that premiered in syndication in 1985 and ran for 2 more seasons to 1987. But no further specials or episodes of the show were produced after 1989, as the majority of the core cast, well, three of them who had passed away in 88 and 89. The 1990 film Jetsons the movie served as the series finale to the television show, though it failed to achieve critical and commercial success. Now then, let's get into the premise of this series. In the future, the Jetsons are a family residing in Orbit City. The city's architecture is rendered in the Googie style and all homes and businesses are raised high above the ground on adjustable columns. George Jetson lives with his family in the Skypad apartment. His wife Jane is a homemaker. Their teenage daughter Judy attends Orbit High School, and their son Elroy attends Little Dipper School. Housekeeping is performed by a robot maid named Rosie, who handles chores not otherwise rendered trivial by the home's numerous push button space age envisioned conveniences. The family has a dog named Astro that talks with an initial consonant mutation, in which every word begins with an R, as if speaking with a growl. A similar effect would also be used for the studio's future canine star Scooby Doo. George's work week consists of an hour a day, 2 days a week. His boss is Cosmos Spacely, the bombastic owner of Spacely Space Sprockets. Spacely has a competitor, Mr. Cogswell, owner of the rival company Cogswell Cogs, sometimes known as Cogswell's Cosmic Cogs. Jetson commutes to work in an aero car with a transparent bubble top. Daily life is leisurely, assisted by numerous labor saving services which occasionally break down with humorous results. Despite this, everyone complains of exhausting hard labor and difficulties living with the remaining inconveniences. Now, of course, I am going to say that the first season of the series was produced and directed by William Hanna and Joseph Barbera themselves. In May of 1961, but just before this, when Warner Bros. Cartoons closed in May of '61, several of its animators, including Jerry Chnicki and Ken Harris, joined Hanna-Barbera to work on the first season as well. Anyway, but however, in 1963, Maury Amsterdam and Pat Carroll each filed the $12,000 suits against the studio for breach of contract, claiming they had been cast and signed to the roles of George and Jane, respectively, although their contract stipulated they would be paid $500 an episode with a guarantee of 24 episodes, a full season of work. They recorded only one episode before being replaced, who I'll get to the voices in just a little bit. Several sources claim the change had occurred as a result of sponsor conflict between Amsterdam's commitment to the Dick Van Dyke Show and Carroll's to make room for Daddy. The case had been closed by early 1965. In an interview in 2013, Carroll indicated that the court had ruled in favor of Hanna-Barbera. Hoyt Curtin, of course, who was responsible for the music for numerous Hanna-Barbera shows, also, well, wrote the theme song and became a pop hit years later in 1986. There's there's numerous things here. Anyway, now when it was first announced for this fall '62 television schedule, Time magazine characterized the series as one of several new situation comedies, along with Our Man Higgins, I'm Dickens, He's Finster, which also premiered on ABC, and CBS's big hit, The Beverly Hillbillies, that was stretching further than ever for their situations. After all the season's new shows had premiered, a season responding to, well, to Minnow's exhortations. The magazine called the series silly and unpretentious, corny and clever, now and then quite funny. Yeah, and only the Beverly Hillbillies survived, but the Jetsons would continue in Saturday morning reruns, eventually leading to its 80s revival. There's been numerous others and what have you. Now, I have really enjoyed this show, but I only caught in reruns in the late 80s just a little bit until I finally got Cartoon Network and then Boomerang, where I watched it a little bit more, but I didn't catch all of it. Last year, however, I managed to see the whole series on Max, which that's now the only place you can find that. Now, it was on Tubi for a little while, but now, of course, it's no longer there. But, of course, the series is currently on Max. Now, The series actually ended here after 24 episodes were produced and aired on ABC. Of course, this version, of course, contained a laugh track. In 1984, the studio began producing new episodes specifically for syndication. And by September of the following year, the 24 episodes from the first season were combined with 41 new episodes and began airing in morning or late afternoon time slots. Unfortunately, we didn't have anything. We did get until 1989, but unfortunately, that was when, well, our which was our Fox affiliate aired it, but unfortunately, right before I went to school. But anyway, after that, it had later got shown on Cartoon Network and I believe on TNT. I think TBS, but I'm not sure. I did recall. I think I read it was on TNT at times, and also then to Boomerang, and more recently it was shown on MeTV. But now, of course, it's showing on their new channel, MeTV Tunes. Anyway, I think this is just so much of a fun show. Anyway, now after 41 episodes, it went to reruns for the next year, and in October of 1987, 10 more episodes were produced and aired for the third season. And actually, that same year, in 1987, the Jetsons actually appeared in their first ever movie as part of the Hanna-Barbera Superstars 10 in The Jetsons Meet the Flintstones, which I've already reviewed that and eventually was a fun little film. The following year, they had their second film in Rockin' with Judy Jetson, which I have yet to review that. They've also appeared in Hanna-Barbera's 50th, a Yabba Dabba Doo celebration in 1989, which originally shown on TNT. And then in 1990, serving as the swan song to the original series, Jetsons the movie was released by Universal, but the film unfortunately bombed at the box office. And they did have a direct-to-video film with the Jetsons and WWE Robo WrestleMania in 2017, which I have seen. It's not too bad of a film. I'll be right back. Now, even after its original cancellation, there would be a 1974 proposal would have created a sequel series to the series set roughly 10 years after this, which went to CBS. They rejected the proposal and was retooled into Partridge Family 2200 AD, which premiered on that network in 1974 after ABC had just ended its live action predecessor. Paramount first tried to film a live action version of the family in 1985, but failed to do so. In the late 80s, Universal purchased film rights for the Flintstones and the Jetsons, and the result they got Jetsons the movie, but they never did an animated Flintstones film, but they did do the live action Flintstones film in 1994. They had been trying to make movies for some time with Universal or even Warner Brothers. Now, Warner Brothers does, of course, own the rights to this. And there's even been talks of a live action series, but that has yet to even make it off the ground. Now, of course, there have been numerous appearances in educational films, parodies, comic books, video games, and there's also been video cassettes from Hanna-Barbera Home Video. In 2006, the first season was released on DVD, and then 3 years after that, in June of 2009, the first volume of season 2 came out, while the second half of season 2 and the third season came out through the Warner Archive. Of course, the second half of season 2 came out in 2011, and then in 2014, the third season followed. Now, of course, the complete first season was released on Blu-ray in September 2019. However, years later, they actually managed to release the complete series. containing all three seasons, along with the Jetsons Meet the Flintstones movie. But Rockin' with Judy Jetson was unfortunately not included, as much as I hate to say it, but that was okay. Anyway, and you can actually find that complete series set for a good price. You can get it for maybe less than $20, since it was recently re-released for as part of the Hanna-Barbera Diamond Collection. Now, like the Flintstones, excuse me, we have a pretty good cast and what have you. Now, for our voice acting cast, we have George O'Hanlon voicing George Jetson, the great family patriarch, and he's really funny and what have it, and what have you, and what have you. Excuse me, I'm getting tongue tied here. He does have some funny catchphrases, especially one like you hear at the end credits of the original ABC run. It's like, "Help, Jane! Stop this crazy thing!" Um, Now Jane is voiced by Penny Singleton. I thought she did a great job. Anyway, she and O'Hanlon are both really good, and well, that's all she wrote. Elroy is voiced by Dallas Butler, who of course was recently already well known at Hanna-Barbera for voicing characters like Yogi Bear, Huckleberry Hound, Snagglepuss, Quick Draw McGraw, and many others. While Judy is voiced by Janet Waldo, and this was one of her early performances. I do know I think she voiced Cindy Bear in the Yogi Bear series before this. I could be wrong though. Now, voicing Astro is Don Masick, who of course would later go on to voice Scooby Doo, and he's exceptionally good. Yeah, and he's really funny too. Yeah, he's a real comic relief. He also voices Rudy, the computer at Spacely Sprockets. Next up, we have Jean Vanderville, who, of course, most people remember her as the voice of Wilma Flintstone, voicing Rosie, the robot. She unfortunately only appeared in the first episode of the ABC series, but however, she returned in the syndicated series. While Cosmo Spacely himself is voiced by Mel Blanc, who of course was well known for voicing Barney Rubble on the Flintstones. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot Dallas Butler also voices Cogswell, as well as Henry Orbit, the maintenance man at the Jetsons' apartment. Mel Blanc's performance as Spacely is just so outrageous. Jetson! I can't come close to Blank's vocal performance, then I would really have a little trouble here. You know what I'm saying? And in the syndicated series, we were introduced to another pet that the Jetsons would have, a little critter called Orbity, and his vocal effects are done by Frank Welker. But there's lots of other voice actors throughout this series. But there's so many to mention, including Dick Beals, Michael Bell, Susan Blue, Roger Bumpus, Ruth Buzzy, and oh, the list goes on. There's too many to mention. I'm sorry. But anyway, I think I think if you like the Flintstones and you'll really love the Jetsons just as much, I think this is another great work of Hanna-Barbera's. And I've seen all episodes, so after it was done with syndication, it had an overall total of 75 episodes that were produced and aired. But still, I think this was just such a fun-filled show, and I think you'll like it. And your kids might like it too. If they've never seen the Jetsons, you gotta get your kids to watch this. Like I said, the full series is currently available on Max, and if you don't have Max, no problem. The series is also available on physical media, on DVD. Now, you can get the complete series set on DVD for a good cheap price. Like I know Amazon's got for a pretty good price. incomplete series set. I know Walmart has it for a pretty good price. But anyway, yes. So yeah, I think that would be worth looking into. So anyway, that's about it. I know you saw the picture of the whole family. I think you know the rest, what the rest of the gang look of the characters. You'll know what they are when you see them. Okay, there's lots of other characters around the Jetson universe, so give the Jetsons a watch. So, what did you think of the Jetsons? Did you ever watch this? I'm sure a lot of you did. If so, let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, consider clicking the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel. Make it grow, make the views grow. Tell all your friends about my channel. May they like be a part of my Big D Nation, or you can share my vids with your friends if you wish. That could help as well. And we'll have another TV log coming up next week with Chico and the Man. And join me next time when I bring to you a review of the 1994 remake of Miracle on 34th Street. So, if you like this, check out my reviews of these other two things with the Jetsons. In the upper left hand corner is my review of Jetsons the movie. The upper right hand corner is my review of the Jetsons Meet the Flintstones. Or you can check out my TV log of the Flintstones original series itself. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., as well as the TV log, then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.